On May 17th, 2026, Mercury enters Gemini, and the air around you begins to speak, not softly, not slowly, loudly, suddenly, clearly. This is the moment when the mind becomes a doorway, when the silence you have been sitting inside starts breaking into signs, messages, conversations, dreams, calls, ideas, and realizations you can no longer ignore. Mercury is coming home to Gemini, its own sign, and when the messenger returns to its own temple, information moves fast. Got co-messages, ideas, calls, yes, sudden clarity Shakti high. But the real question is not what is coming. The question is this information helping you move forward or distracting you from the truth? Because this transit is not only about talking, it is about listening. It's about noticing the words between the words. It's about the message hidden inside the delay, the silence hidden inside the conversation, the truth hidden inside someone's behavior. Mercury in Gemini does not always arrive like thunder. Sometimes it arrives like a sentence you cannot stop replaying, a notification that makes your heart pause, a name that appears again and again, a memory that suddenly makes sense, conversation that opens a door you thought was closed, or a thought so sharp, so sudden, so strangely exact, that you know it did not come from ordinary thinking. This is the cosmic messenger turning the volume up for weeks. Many of you have felt stuck in a strange mental fog. You may have been waiting for answers from someone, waiting for direction from life, waiting for your own mind to become clear again. You may have been asking, why can't I decide? Why do I feel pulled in two directions? Why do I know something is changing, but I still cannot name it? And now Mercury enters Gemini, and the hidden message begins moving closer to the surface. Gemini is the sign of the twins, the two paths, the two voices, the two possibilities. It rules speech, thoughts, signals, movement, learning, writing, social media, siblings, small journeys, sudden ideas, and the invisible wires that connect one mind to another. Mercury rules Gemini, which means this planet is not uncomfortable. Here, Mercury is not lost here. Mercury is strong here, fast here, clever here, alive here. This is Mercury in its own language. It's moving through the zodiac like a messenger who knows every secret road. And when Mercury becomes strong, the mind becomes active. But active does not always mean peaceful. Sometimes the mind becomes loud because something inside you is trying to be heard. Sometimes your thoughts race because a decision has been delayed too long. Sometimes your intuition speaks through mental restlessness. Sometimes your anxiety is not random. It is your soul trying to show you where your attention is leaking. So, during this transit, pay close attention to the message behind the noise. There is a reason the hidden message is the main symbol of this moment. Imagine an unopened letter sitting in the center of your life. It has always been there. You have walked around it. You have pretended not to see it. You have distracted yourself with other people's opinions, old fears, emotional confusion, scrolling, waiting, hoping, overthinking. But now Mercury enters Gemini, and the seal on that letter begins to crack. The universe does not force you to open it, simply makes it impossible to ignore. For some of you, this hidden message is about love. Someone's silence has already told you more than their words ever could. Someone's inconsistency has become the answer. Someone's mixed signals have been keeping your nervous system trapped between hope and disappointment. And now Mercury in Gemini asks you to stop listening only to what people say. Watch the pattern. Watch the timing. Watch the effort. Watch whether their communication creates peace or confusion. Because during this transit, the truth may not come through a confession. It may come through repetition. For others, this hidden message is about career. You may receive an idea, an offer, a conversation, a connection, or a sudden realization about what you are supposed to say. Teach, write, post, sell, study, or build next. Gemini is not silent energy. It wants movement. It wants exchange. It wants the mind to become useful.
Right.
So if a thought keeps coming back, if an idea keeps tapping on your shoulder, if a topic, person, skill, or opportunity keeps appearing, do not dismiss it too quickly. Mercury in Gemini often begins with curiosity before it becomes destiny, but there is also a warning here. Not every message is sacred. Not every voice deserves access to your mind. Not every notification is guidance. Not every conversation is clarity. Some things are noise dressed as urgency. Some people speak just enough to keep you emotionally available, but not enough to be honest. Some opportunities look exciting because they move fast, but they may not be stable. Mercury in Gemini gives information, but it also tests discernment. It asks, can you tell the difference between a real signal and a distraction? This is why your attention becomes spiritual currency. Now, before this moment, you may have felt emotionally exhausted from trying to decode everything. Someone's silence, someone's tone, someone's delay, your own fear, your own dreams. The strange timing of events, the way one door closes, then another small sign appears. You may have been replaying conversations in your mind, trying to understand where the truth changed. You may have felt like your heart knew something before your mind could prove it. You may have been carrying a question that never fully left you. And maybe the hardest part was not the waiting. Maybe the hardest part was the not knowing if they meant it, not knowing if you should stay, not knowing if the idea is worth pursuing, not knowing if your intuition is real or if you were just tired, not knowing if the universe is guiding you or if you are simply imagining patterns because your heart wants relief. This is the emotional territory before Mercury enters Gemini, a mind full of unfinished sentences, soul standing in front of the unopened letter. Now the letter begins to open. You may notice that conversations become faster. People may reach out suddenly. News may move quickly. Plans may change. Your schedule may become busy. Your mind may jump from one idea to another. You may feel pulled to write, speak, record, research, learn, apply, ask, respond, explain, or finally say what has been sitting in your throat for too long. This is Mercury in Gemini activating the throat, the mind, and the invisible bridge between thought and reality. But this transit does not only ask you to speak, it asks you to speak with awareness. There is a difference between expressing truth and reacting from anxiety. There is a difference between asking for clarity and chasing someone who enjoys being unclear. There is a difference between planning your next chapter and mentally escaping from the chapter you are still responsible for. Mercury in Gemini can make the mind brilliant, but it can also make the mind scattered. So your spiritual task is simple. Slow the message down enough to understand it. In the body, this energy may feel like restlessness. You may feel tension in the throat, jaw, shoulders, chest, or hands. You may feel the need to check your phone more often, to refresh, to search, to read, to ask, to know. Sleep may feel lighter because the mind does not want to switch off. Dreams may become more symbolic, fast-moving, or strangely verbal. You may wake up remembering one phrase, one image, one person, one feeling. Do not ignore that. Do not panic over it either. Write it down. Let the hidden message reveal itself through pattern, not pressure. This is a transit where your nervous system needs protection. Mercury in Gemini is air. It moves quickly. It carries words, signals, thoughts, gossip, ideas, opinions, news, and emotional static. If your mind is already tired, this transit can overstimulate you. So drink water. Breathe before you reply. Take space from unnecessary conversations. Limit the voices that confuse you. Do not let every person with an opinion become a prophet in your life. Your body will tell you which messages are clean and which messages are chaotic. A clean message may feel direct, calm, almost simple. Even if it is serious, it does not destroy your inner balance. A chaotic message feels addictive, creates urgency, fear, obsession, or a need to prove your worth. During Mercury in Gemini, this distinction matters, because not every door opening is meant to be entered. Some doors open only to show you that you no longer belong in that hallway, in money and abundance. Mercury entering Gemini can be powerful, but not in a slow, heavy way. This is not the energy of sitting still and waiting for money to magically appear. This is mental abundance, idea abundance, communication abundance, skill abundance. The blessing may come through a conversation, a message, a pitch, a client, a content idea, a small opportunity, a negotiation, a course, a collaboration, or a piece of information you did not have before. If Taurus season was asking you to stabilize your values, Gemini season begins asking you to communicate those values. This is an excellent time to write the proposal. Send the email, update the profile, plan the content, make the call, study the skill, reopen the conversation, or organize your thoughts into something useful. Money may move through words now, through marketing, through teaching, through speaking, through writing, through sales, through networking, through asking the right question to the right person at the right time. But the warning is this: do not scatter your energy across 10 ideas, because each one gives you a quick emotional high. Choose the message that has legs. Choose the idea that still matters after the excitement fades. Mercury in Gemini can bring fast opportunities, but it can also bring fast distractions. Someone may offer something that sounds good but lacks structure. A plan may feel exciting but not grounded. A financial choice may be influenced by hype, peer pressure, or fear of missing out. So when it comes to money, pause before you commit. Read the details. Ask the second question. Look at the numbers. If something is real, it will survive your clarity. If something disappears when you ask for details, it was never stable enough to hold your future. This transit also touches self-worth through the way you speak about yourself. Listen to your own inner language. Are you telling yourself you are behind? Are you repeating old failure stories? Are you calling yourself confused when you are actually in transition? Are you making your dreams smaller because someone once made you feel foolish for wanting more? Mercury in Gemini reveals the scripts running inside your mind. And once you hear the script, you can rewrite it. That is one of the hidden messages of this transit. The words you keep repeating are becoming instructions to your future. So speak carefully, not because every sentence is magic in a childish way, but because your mind listens to your mouth. Your nervous system listens to your self-talk. Your confidence listens to the story you keep telling. When Mercury enters Gemini, your language becomes a tool. Use it to build a bridge, not a cage. In health and body, this transit asks for nervous system care. You may feel mentally wired, but physically tired. You may feel like you have 100 thoughts, but not enough grounded energy to act on all of them. Your sleep may be interrupted by ideas, dreams, or emotional processing. You may crave movement, fresh air, lighter meals, cleaner routines, and small changes in your daily rhythm. Gemini rules the breath, the hands, the nervous system, and the exchange of energy. So your body may ask for release through breathing, stretching, walking, writing, shaking out tension, or simply turning the phone off earlier. Your throat may become symbolic now. Notice what you are holding back. Notice where your voice tightens. Notice who makes you feel unable to speak honestly. Notice where you over-explain because you fear being misunderstood. Notice where you go silent because speaking the truth might change the relationship. Mercury in Gemini is not here to make you reckless. It is here to remind you that silence can protect peace, but silence can also protect a lie. You must know which one you are choosing. And then there are relationships. This may be the most important part of the transit, because Mercury in Gemini will reveal who can communicate with maturity and who only communicates when they want control. Pay attention to people's words, but pay even closer attention to consistency. Someone may suddenly become talkative, charming, funny, available, or curious. Someone may send a message after silence. Someone may try to reopen a door without explaining why they closed it. Someone may say the right things but still avoid accountability. This is where your discernment must become sharper than your longing, because there are messages that heal, and there are messages that only restart the same cycle. A healing message brings clarity. It does not leave you decoding every comma. Does not make you feel like you have to earn basic honesty. It does not ask you to abandon your self-respect just to keep the connection alive. A confusing message may feel exciting at first, but then it pulls you back into waiting, guessing, checking, and hoping. Mercury in Gemini can bring contact, but contact is not the same as commitment. Conversation is not the same as change. Attention is not the same as love. In relationships, this transit asks you to listen for emotional maturity. Can they speak directly? Can they answer simple questions? Can they admit impact, not just intention? Can they communicate when things are uncomfortable, or only when things are light? Can they hold a real conversation without turning it into blame, avoidance, jokes, or silence? These questions matter now. For those in a relationship, Mercury in Gemini can help clear the air. This is a good time to talk about what has been misunderstood, delayed, or avoided. But do not enter the conversation only to win. Enter to understand. Ask what needs to be clarified. Say what has been sitting on your chest. Be honest without being cruel. Be curious without abandoning your boundaries. Sometimes one mature conversation can save months of emotional distance. For those dealing with silence, mixed signals, or emotional confusion, this transit may show you the truth through what does not happen. Someone still cannot communicate clearly when the cosmic messenger is strong. That is information. If someone only speaks when they sense you pulling away, that is information. If someone gives words but no action, that is information. If your body feels anxious every time they return, that is information. The hidden message may not be in what they say. It may be in how your spirit feels after they speak. And for those who are single, Mercury and Gemini can bring new conversations, social energy, flirtation, messages, and unexpected connections. But again, keep your discernment. Chemistry through words can be powerful, especially now. Someone may stimulate your mind before they earn your trust. Enjoy the conversation, but do not confuse quick mental connection with emotional safety. Let time reveal what charm cannot prove. This is also a powerful transit for manifestation. But manifestation now is not only about visualizing, it is about naming, writing, declaring, organizing the scattered pieces of desire into language. You do not know what you want. Write what you no longer want. If you cannot see the whole path, write the next honest question. If your future feels too big, write the first sentence. Mercury in Gemini blesses movement through words. The page becomes a portal. The voice becomes a key. The message becomes a map. So your guidance during this transit is practical and sacred at the same time. Do not react instantly to every message. Let some words sit for a moment. If you receive sudden news, breathe before deciding. If someone returns, observe before opening the whole door. If an idea arrives, capture it quickly, then test it with reality. If your mind races, write everything down and separate truth from fear. If you feel pulled into gossip, step back. If a conversation starts draining your energy, end it respectfully. If you need clarity, ask directly. If someone cannot answer, directly trust what that reveals. Choose one honest conversation you have been avoiding, not 10. 1. Choose one idea you want to explore, not 20. 1. Choose one message you need to send, one boundary you need to state, one plan you need. To organize one truth, you need to admit to yourself. Gemini energy can scatter when it is undisciplined, but when focused, it becomes genius. It becomes the sentence that changes everything. And now, let us speak directly to the signs most affected, Gemini. This is your activation. Mercury is entering. Your sign, and the cosmic messenger is placing the letter directly in your hands. Your mind may become louder, faster, sharper, and more alive. You may feel like your personality is waking up after a strange period of hesitation or emotional heaviness. People may notice you more. Conversations may circle back to you. Ideas may arrive quickly. Your words may carry more power than usual. But the warning for you is not to become lost in every possibility. You are standing at the twin doors now, and both may look interesting. But one door leads to growth, and the other leads to distraction. Choose the door that gives you clarity, not just stimulation. Choose the conversation that respects your truth, not just your attention. This transit can help you speak, write, decide, and reposition yourself. But you must not betray your own knowing just because someone else is persuasive. The hidden message for Gemini is this. Your voice is returning, but it must be used with intention. Virgo, this transit touches you deeply because Mercury is your ruler too. When Mercury changes signs, your whole inner system notices. You may feel a strong push around work, decisions, plans, responsibilities, and the future you are trying to organize. Your mind may start connecting details that previously felt scattered. Something about your career, routine, public direction, or personal responsibility may become clearer now. But Virgo, your challenge is overanalysis. You can turn one message into a maze if you are not careful. You can keep editing your truth until it becomes silence. You can wait for perfect certainty and miss the moment that only required honesty. Mercury in Gemini is asking you to let the information move. Have the conversation, send the message, ask the question, update the plan. But do not punish yourself for not knowing everything yet. The hidden message for Virgo is this. Clarity will not come from controlling every detail. It will come from trusting the pattern you have already seen. Sagittarius. This transit activates your opposite sign, Gemini, which means relationships, mirrors, conversations, and emotional truth become impossible to ignore. People may reveal themselves through words now. Partner, friend, collaborator, client, or someone from your past may bring a message that forces you to look at what is balanced and what is not. You are a sign that seeks truth. But sometimes you move so quickly toward the big meaning that you overlook the small sentence that explains everything. Mercury in Gemini asks you to listen more closely. Not just to what people believe, but to how they communicate when honesty is required. This can be a powerful period for relationship clarity, contracts, choices, and honest dialogue. But Sagittarius, do not run from a conversation just because it makes you feel emotionally exposed. The hidden message for you is this: the truth you are seeking may arrive through another person, but the decision will still belong to you. And even if you are not Gemini, Virgo, or Sagittarius, this transit still speaks to the part of you that is ready for clarity. Pisces may feel the emotional fog lifting slowly, but only after choosing grounded truth over fantasy. Aquarius may receive support through networks, ideas, friendships, and future-focused conversations. Every sign will feel the air change in some area of life, because Mercury in Gemini is not subtle. It moves through the collective like wind through an old house, opening windows, lifting papers, revealing the letter on the table. That letter may be a message from another person, maybe a decision you finally make, maybe the truth your body has known for months. It may be a career idea that keeps returning. It may be a sentence in your journal that exposes everything. It may be a conversation that closes one chapter and opens another. But whatever form it takes, do not treat it as random, because from May 17th onward, the universe is communicating through pattern. You are not being asked to believe every thought. You're being asked to listen more intelligently. You're not being asked to chase every sign. You are being asked to recognize the one that keeps returning with quiet force. You are not being asked to answer everyone. You are being asked to answer your own truth first. So when the message comes, pause, breathe, read the energy behind it. Ask yourself, does this bring clarity or confusion? Does this respect my peace or disturb my nervous system? Does this open a real door or only restart an old loop? Does this align with the person I am becoming or the version of me that was? Afraid to be alone? Mercury in Gemini is a messenger, but you are the one who chooses what to do with the message, and perhaps that is the deepest spiritual meaning of this transit. The universe can send signs. People can send words. Life can send openings. Dreams can send symbols. But awakening happens when you stop collecting messages and start understanding them. When you stop asking for clarity from people who benefit from your confusion, when you stop calling mixed signals destiny, when you stop letting noise interrupt your inner knowing, the hidden letter is opening now, and inside it, there may not be a dramatic prophecy. There may not be a perfect answer. It may simply be one sentence your soul has been waiting for. You already know. You already know what drains you. Already know what excites your spirit. You already know who brings peace and who brings confusion. You already know which idea keeps returning because it belongs to your future. You already know which conversation must happen, which boundary must be spoken, which distraction must be released, which truth must finally be allowed to breathe. On May 17th, Mercury enters Gemini and the message begins moving. Do not fear it. Do not chase it. Do not twist it into what you wish it meant. Listen clearly. Speak honestly. Move wisely. Protect your mind like a sacred temple. Protect your words like seeds. Protect your attention like gold. Because in this season, one message can redirect your path. One conversation can reveal a pattern. One idea can become a door. And one truth can set you free. The universe is speaking now. Make sure you are listening to the right voice.